The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and over 25 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a wonderful gentleman from upstate New York. He's back once again on the Mike Wagner Show by popular demand. He is a terrific host. He's interviewed over 300 famous people. He's made a great name for himself because of his unique situation and learns and teaches people how to overcome a lot of problems. This guy's just a great inspiration. I turn to him for a lot of things, and we can always use some great inspiration during this time. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plush Studios in upstate New York, ladies and gentlemen, the host of Keith Andrew Network, Keith Andrew. Keith, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us once again.
No, it's a real honor and privilege. Thank you for having me. One thing I do want to clarify real fast, The last time we did talk was 300, but I'm officially up to right now 690.
Whoa, 690. Oh my goodness. I think I lost count after that. So I've got a wild ways to go. Believe me, I had some people say, you did over 300 people. I've got a lot to do. Right now, I think you take the cake. So I might have to just schedule people 24/7, and I'm going to need lots and lots and lots of coffee. Go 24/7 interviewing just to catch up to your number.
No, absolutely. It's funny, officially, I'm finally up to 690. But if you really want to get me crazy and just acknowledge my mistakes, I actually did another 372 in the beginning.
Wow.
So altogether, it's almost 1,000. I'm at like 1,000 people. But, that's in the past. Officially, it's up to 690. I'm reaching my goal to 700, and it's 7.5 years. I can't wait for my 8-year anniversary.
Oh my goodness, 7.5 years. That is amazing. And when's the 8-year anniversary? You have to mark on our calendars.
It will be June 13th this year.
June 13th of this year. Okay, we will mark that on the calendar. So we're back once again. And Keith, I guess you're here to give us an update to what's been happening. And of course, before we do all that, quickly tell us how I got started. Very quickly.
All right. Pretty much the whole point of how I got started was having like a brain fart. There's so many different variations of the story. I used my brother for an inspiration. I used my dad for an inspiration. One of the main stories, I'm going to say it now, it all started with a birthday wish. And I know that sounds like the stupidest thing ever. Now, but let me explain why it started with a birthday wish. I was talking to my mother, and my mom said to me, you turn 21, it's the most special birthday you can have in the entire life. You live only once. And I'm like, well, I don't drink, I don't smoke, and if I have to die, one thing I would like is to have a couple famous friends. And, of course, I went down a whole road of, wrestlers tell me off, I'm a poser, a leech, you don't deal with people like you. And I'm like, all right, how can I have my birthday wish, but actually benefit myself and also influence people out there with and without learning disabilities? So June of 2013, I did 72, like we were talking, I did 72 phone interviews. Don't ask me why, but I seen a good idea at the time. I got people like Barbara Goodson, a Robert Stake, a Kerrigan Mayhem, from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Amazing Spider-Man, but I was still having panic attacks. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm in the room by myself talking on the phone, but I'm still having anxiety attacks. Mm-hmm. I did it over. And as you see on the camera, you're reflecting. And if anyone goes to the KeithAngieNetwork.com, also the Keith Angie Network YouTube channel, Season 1 and Season 2 was pretty much recording from the computer screen.
Wow.
And I didn't want to be seen. So this one person came across my brother and said, we came across your brother's website. His show looked pretty interesting. Our complaint is, why is he hiding? Why is he in a small box? And I said, I didn't want to be seen. Then they're like, well, you can't have it both ways. You can't become famous and hide. If you want to be famous, you need to put your face out there and say, this is who I am. 2015, I downloaded Skype. Skype also has like a third-party program called Ecamm, E-C-A-M-M. You download that, and I started to do split interviews like Fox News, CNN, where it's cut down the middle. I'm on the right, you're on the left. But only recently, I actually made a transition over to Zoom. So now I actually have a virtual background. So there's a long progress of 7.5 years that I did. I could have done this from the very start, but then you wouldn't have seen the growth and the process and everything. So yeah, I did things ass backwards.
Well, you gotta learn somehow. And of course, I was going to say something too before you went on when you talked about being hidden and talking to interviews. I have another term for it: radio.
Yes. I was actually talking about, and actually in the beginning, Blog Talk Radio. Long story about that. An actress and me had a misunderstanding. So how I'm a huge wrestling fan. Anyone knows about me, I'm a big wrestling fan. And, I always like how her seasons, I wish I had $1 for every time I said this. Her season, Snickers presents WrestleMania or Monday Night Raw. I'm like, well, I'm paying for the Keith Angie Network. Why not have the Keith Angie Network presents Uncensored? And at the time, if you look at my old episodes, because I had to reformat it and everything, I say you're watching Uncensored. I don't use that anymore. Uncensored now, it says freedom of speech and self-expression and all that. But that's not the theme of the show anymore. It is the theme, but that's not the name of the show. So I went from that. I got into an argument with an actress. I asked her to be on the show. She said no. Next day, she said, I have a brand new show called Uncensored. I said, you know what? Whatever. At the time, I took it really personally. Now, I really don't care because this means a lot to me. Back 7.5 years ago, I saw things differently. In a way, it's kind of good that she did that because it's kind of like it shows how people are. But you need to change. If you have an idea, you don't tell people about it, because if you start spewing your ideas, people are going to take it and use it for themselves. You get no credit. So if you have an idea, keep it to yourself until it's 100% finalized. Mm-hmm. Or you learn out the hard way. That's what I did.
Right, and that's a very, very interesting point as well, too. And also going to ask as well, too, you've done over close to 700 interviews, and unofficially you've done over 1,000. What was the most interesting interview that you've ever done?
There's a bunch of them, but I can mention my top 5. Let's see, top 5 would be, number 1, my very first interview I ever did. She helped me out a lot. Was Barbara Goodson. She did the voice of Rita Repulsa, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. My good friend Ron Reisman, he did the music for Power Rangers and the X-Men. Michael Landsberg, someone you should have on your show, just pointing him in your direction. Michael Landsberg was the Canadian show host of Off the Record. He interviewed wrestlers and all these different sports people. He actually coached me during the interview because I used to ask one question after another. He said, X2, try to X1, but if you could, don't X2, just do 1. So he was telling me, do this, do that. So it was really a great interview. Number 3, let's see, so that was 3. Number 4 was WWE Hall of Famer Kansas Michelle. And also a wrestler, Wendy Plavo. So a lot of wrestlers, a lot of people in the acting business, CEOs. I interview people with and without learning disabilities.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, you talk about learning disability as well, too, that you make mention of it on your Keith Andrews show and everything else. And do you belong to any groups that, support the cause of learning disabilities, or are you with any professional organizations? Do you go out in public to speak about it, or have you been asked on shows to talk about learning disabilities? And what is your level of profession when it comes about talking about learning disabilities? Like, say, you're a president of this of an organization, or you go out and speak, or you're on shows, you write, and everything like that. And what level are you on when it comes to talking about learning disabilities, that you basically just say, this is about me and my situation?
Well, I was invited on a couple shows. I had done some phone interviews. Just got to out myself here. I'm not crazy about phone interviews because I don't like talking on the phone and it feels like I'm talking to myself. Just me. But I've been on multiple video interviews. They're on my website, keithandrewnetwork.com. I was on a Canadian show. I was actually a year ago invited to New York City at the Manhattan neighborhood of broadcasting.
Oh, wow.
And I can't, his name is Dr. Truitt. And he's like, oh, he's a doctor about disabilities. He wanted me on the show. And same thing, episodes on the main website. And that's actually my very first interview I ever did in person was at the Manhattan neighborhood broadcasting. We've been talking about having a brain fart. We've been talking about uploading my episodes to Manhattan neighborhood broadcasting, but have to be 28 minutes, and I said that's fine. I can knock it down from a half hour to 28 minutes. Take out the introduction, take out the commercial break, and do whatever. And make a difference. It doesn't always have to be a half hour because people don't have that attention span. But I tried uploading a couple episodes. I gave up on it because it wasn't working. I tried reaching out to a couple schools in the area, a couple colleges. People always say to me, you said it. Why aren't you on Fox News? Why aren't you on CNN? Good Morning America? Whatever show you may think of. And I approached every single one of them and said, this is my story. This is my catchphrase. This is what I do. And they always say the same stupid thing. Well, it's really great what you're doing. Problem is, you're a nobody, and no one knows who you are, and we don't really think our viewers would be interested in having something like this on the show.
Oh, boy. I mean, they have to take advantage of something new. And from what I've seen in broadcasting as well, too, they always stick to the same guests. And, of course, with a lot of podcasts out there, the Mike Wagner Show, we give everybody a chance. And we'll talk more about your situation as well, too, what's coming up. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com. It's powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and over 25 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with Keith Andrew of the Keith Andrew Network here on the Mike Wagner Show. And Keith, we talked about learning disabilities and also being involved in organizations and speaking about it. And maybe you can just make people aware of those who have never heard of learning disabilities. You can just talk about the origin of it and what are some of the signs to look for and how to get help and how can people be aware of it.
That is actually a good question. It's never actually, I'm not like an expert in this, but what I would say to everyone is treat everyone how you want to be treated and just give people respect. However you want to be treated, that's the same way you should be. I'm not really an expert on that subject. Organization-wise, I'm always up for people to work with me. I'm pretty much easygoing. It's hey, you help me. You give a dog a bone, that dog's got to run with the bone. But to answer your question, I don't think I have the mindset. I don't think I'm qualified to answer that question.
Okay. Yeah, because we just want to make people aware. I've talked to people who had PTSD, ALS, and, all kinds. And there's like signs and, what to look for and everything. And there's also support groups out there. And, where can people find support for those with learning disabilities and others?
No, absolutely. It's always good. One thing I learned from my father is to size people up and read their body language. There was this one person who I actually interviewed, and during the interview, I noticed his eyes were dodging back and forth during the interview. And he's like, oh, he's got to be in the Army. But I was sitting there watching his mannerisms. Like, one, you have, and I should know because I have ADD, ADHD. But he's like avoiding eye contact, squirming in his chair. It's like, yeah, there's no way he's going to be in the Army because he has like that itch to him that's saying, it will trigger to him that's say that isn't right. Or he's one of those people that may look fine on the outside. You heard the expression, the happiest people are usually the most depressed people. You can have a big smile on your face all you want, but you're pretty much as broken inside. But you need to not size people up, but you need to watch how they speak to you, make eye contact, and watch for those little certain triggers that they have that say little flags go off. But there are tons of great organizations out there for people who want to get help. You mentioned people who served in the Army and who have post-traumatic stress disorder, or back in World War II, they called it shell-shocked.
Shell-shock, that was another name of it because I was on an interview that said PTSD that said you meant shell-shock, and I'm glad you mentioned it.
No, absolutely. There's so many different names, not to talk about political things, but anyone who serves in the Army, that's the government's responsibility to take care of them, not say, thank you for your service, and then throw them out on the street. So not to talk about political things, but I think if you serve in the Army, you kind of made your point because you're putting your life on the line. So for an example, people in the Army, you're putting their lives on the line. You're putting their lives on for you, for me, so I can do my show. You can do your show. People can go to the mall, go to the beach, can do whatever the hell they want. And if it wasn't for these people giving their lives, we wouldn't have the freedom for that.
Mm-hmm. And that is very true as well, too. And, of course, getting back to the Keith Andrews Show and the Keith Andrews Network, and we talked about the things you overcome and your situation and everything else. And I think you've done a great job as well, too. And what do you have coming up in terms of 2020 and beyond? So what are some of your major plans for 2020 and beyond? What can we expect from you?
Oh, I'm actually looking for 2020 to be over because it's a real crappy year.
That's a common one, yes.
It's really true, with the whole the virus and all the things going on. Going into the future, looking on a positive side, I was talking to a couple of professional wrestlers to be on the show. I have a handful of people who will be on the show. Actors, actresses, models, CEOs. So my goal is to reach 700. And once I get to 700, 800. It's always good to be focused, but my goal is stay healthy, wait for the crap stops hitting in the fan, and once things slowly go back to normal, things will not go back to normal until there's a vaccine. That's number one. But until then, I'm going to stay home, avoid human contact with the outside world, keep working on the show. But once it's all over, I'm going to start reaching out to Comic-Cons and do meet and greets, do a TED Talk. Someone said to me earlier, I should do a TED Talk. Start doing things. And people are like, you can do things online right now. And absolutely, right now the online business is booming because, everyone's doing a podcast online. But there's certain things what you can't do online, but you can do in person. It's always nice to get that human interaction, even though there are some people you kind of want to keep at arm's length.
Right, yeah. 6 feet is like 6 feet, 6 feet. So.
And now they're saying that's not even good enough. It has to be like 10 feet. But it's just saying there's a certain thing of being in a crowd of people that it feels nice. It feels normal. But at the same time, with everything going on, you have to take baby steps. Of course, I'm going to be doing more and more interviews. But eventually, who knows what's out there for you? You know, don't make plans because what was it? Everyone has a plan until they're punched in the face. But in 2020 is a perfect example for that. You had plans. My dad and my mom had plans. But once you have one incident, it ruins everything. So we're now on quarantine, unfortunately. So, hey, thumbs up to 2021, 2022. Hopefully things are looking differently.
Mm-hmm. And I'm looking forward as well, too. I think everybody's ready to get out of 2020. And also, where can we find the Keith Andrew Network at? How can they find you?
No, absolutely. You can follow me on Instagram, Keith Andrew Network, Twitter, Keith Andrew 88, Facebook fan page, KeithAndrewNetwork.com, YouTube, same name, KeithAndrewNetwork.com. I'm now on Reddit. I don't know if you're on there, but I will actually recommend that people go on Reddit, Reddit. There's so many different formats. Just type in Keith Andrew Network, hashtag Keith Andrew Network, and there you go. I kind of pop up like a bad rash.
Amazing. And how do people contact you?
Now they can contact me on my website, KeithAndrewNetwork.com, and all my social medias.
That is fantastic. Once again, Keith Andrew from the Keith Andrew Network, a big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Definitely looking forward to having you again soon. And do us a favor, keep us up to date, and look forward to having you again in 2021, and keep the faith.
Thank you.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.